As criticism mounts over President Trump's plan to deport naturalized citizens, a viral petition is turning the spotlight on the president's own family. Titled Deprot Melania, her parents, and Barron, it questions the First Lady's immigration path as well as Barron's birthright status.
Yeah, that segment aired on July 3rd of this year, right before Independence Day, which, interestingly enough, is what Melania longingly refers to as the inevitable date of her divorce from the idea of deporting the Slovenian immigrant and her naturalized son, and it is coming from some people you might not expect, like the First Lady herself. But come on, can you really blame her? I mean, the conditions of being a caretaker at the nation's nursing home right now are hardly a step up from an El Salvadoran prison. So if you are like most Americans and disagree with Trump's heartless mass deportation scheme, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe to Really American. Hell, you might even save a wife. Alright, so here's exactly what Dementia Don was asked and responded with in regards to the domestic terrorist organization that is harassing, arresting, potentially even deporting U.S. citizens, not crimes if they're committed by the good guys. I'm sure that's exactly what the Nazis thought. But I'm getting ahead of myself. More on the right-wing propaganda campaign Trump is using to recruit ICE agents in a second, because it actually ties in historically and scarily well with Melania's background. Now, naturally, Trump's comments drew ire and criticism from across the political spectrum, and by that, I mean the left. Representative Jimmy Gomez, who represents a portion of Los Angeles that was devastated by the ICE raids this year, expressed shock that Trump still wants ICE to turn things up a notch, with him rightly pointing out and posting this: "Haven't gone far enough. Any further and ICE will be deporting Melania." And we'll circle back to that petition because this isn't the first time that this has been called out, but I just want to highlight some of the comments here for some quick catharsis. You have Melania in the White House from South Park that we covered a couple days ago, if you haven't seen that episode. This meme of Melania saying, "I got into this country with Epstein visa," with Trump correcting her Einstein. Someone saying, well, she is a criminal landscaper, as well as your fair share of racist MAGA morons. The irony of this poster Laura not realizing that she's the one in the picture. Someone saying, "You first, Mr. Gomez. Our FLOTUS is a U.S. citizen, you damned fool. Losing illegal voters is just painful, isn't it, Jimmy?" I say the MAGA Christian family value people who still don't give a shit that Trump cheated on her ass with a porn star while she was pregnant with Barron, who we'll get to as well. If only Trump would tell them all lobotomies are the new way to own the libs. Because apparently, Melania never even wanted to live in the United States. And this revelation just surfaced this week, months after that petition that we talked about earlier, to get her deported over Trump's birthright citizenship showdown.
As criticism mounts over President Trump's reported plan to deport naturalized American citizens, an online petition is turning the spotlight inward on the first family itself. The petition, hosted on an online platform, is titled "Deport Melania, her parents and Barron in the first round of deportations." It has racked up nearly 3,000 signatures in just a few days. The petition argues that if Trump's policies target so-called anchor babies and naturalized citizens, there should be no exceptions even within the White House. It singles out Barron Trump as an anchor baby, suggesting his birthright status should be revoked, citing the fact that his maternal grandmother was born abroad. Trump critics were especially vocal during last month's mass anti-deportation protests in Los Angeles, urging the president to start with his own family if he truly intends to pursue such policies.
If Trump wants to start looking so closely to find those born here whose parents were undocumented, maybe he ought to first look at Melania.
These remarks by Congresswoman Maxine Waters at an anti-deportation protest in Los Angeles apparently lit the fuse.
This is Trump and his outrageous attempt to not...
Protesters cheered as Waters questioned whether the First Lady's own immigration journey would stand up to the new rules, calling into question the First Lady's 2006 naturalization and even her parents' documented status. Born in Slovenia, Melania Trump moved to New York in 1996 as a model. She secured an EB-1 Einstein visa in 2001, a green card for individuals with extraordinary abilities. She became a U.S. citizen in 2006, a year after marrying Donald Trump. Her parents became U.S. citizens later on. So 1996 arrival, 2001 green card, and 2006 citizenship.
And look, while that petition is unlikely to have any traction ever, which is unfortunate, I think it's important that we call this stuff out because it's not just rhetoric at a certain point. Donald Trump is doing this to people. Take, for example, this instance of this Danish dad that we made a video about in the past. There have been no instances, despite Trump's claim, of his administration working with deportees to return them to the United States. Instead, the administration has imprisoned migrants like Kasper Eriksson, a Denmark-born father of 4 whose wife and children are American. Eriksson lives in Mississippi, publicly praised Trump on social media, and worked legally as a welder while pursuing naturalizations, with agents taking him into custody as he showed up to his citizenship interview. He has been held in rural Louisiana prison since April. So the irony is that Melania, had she come to this country 15, 20 years later, probably would have had her car smashed into and gotten thrown out if she hadn't met the president and gotten preyed on by an alleged pedophile who turned over a new leaf, I guess. Maybe not. He was 52 and she was 28 when they met. And on top of that, the fact that MAGA thinks they won't come for them too is absolutely insane. We saw it with the Nazis, with previous fascist regimes. Regimes whose right-wing propaganda Donald Trump is using to recruit the enforcement agents of this domestic terrorist organization. Their recruitment content is being shared by the Proud Boys, a white supremacist neo-Nazi group, and other extremists. The Customs and Border Patrol commander, Gregory Bovino, is out here doing literal Nazi salutes and wearing straight-up Gestapo clothing. Like, if you're issued a weapon and a mask, you might be the bad guy. And it's crazy how these xenophobic Nazi losers are so ready to just hold this standard of, hey, you're not naturalized, hey, you're working to come here the legal ways, well, fuck all, I don't care, you're getting deported, haha, look at you, you loser. And then they somehow think that if they're in that process, it's not gonna happen to them. We've seen so many a maggot lose their food stamps, lose their health care, get deported, get mixed up in a raid, children, get hand zip-tied and thrown out into the street naked. Party of Christian values, party of pro-life, party of fuck all your values. You have none. So guess what? While you maggots sit there and complain, where are the Epstein files? Well, 2 of the people that are definitely in them, one who's an immigrant, who if she wasn't married to your fucking cult daddy that you love to take it up the ass from, you'd be like, why is she here in my country? Well, yeah. They're gonna be perfectly fine. You, on the other hand, are absolutely fucked. I know the maggots can't read, but boy oh boy should they at least try with this poem. We have made so many videos on this channel of MAGA people fucking around and finding out. I just made one the other day of a woman on food stamps who got mad that her mother-in-law wouldn't help her with groceries after SNAP benefits were about to lapse. And personally, I usually do have a lot of empathy and sympathy for these people because I don't like to see people starving or people having their families torn apart or losing their livelihoods. It doesn't bring me any joy. Like it does for MAGA people, which is fucking scary. But I do think we have to bring attention to these things when they happen. Is there a certain amount of catharsis? Absolutely. You voted for this. And you should be made aware of the consequences of your actions. They also should face consequences in some regards for their actions, which is why we document these things as well. And it's genuinely frustrating because really the moral of the story here is that these people have no morals, or at least none that they will stick to and actually stand for. They claim they want an America for American citizens with no knowledge of how America is a country of genociding natives, stealing slaves from foreign lands and only begrudgingly giving them any kind of rights in the past century. An immigration that made this country what it was. But even if I give you that and I'm like, okay, be white nationalist, be xenophobic, be nationalist, whatever, then why the fuck can't you hold that to Melania? Why the fuck is it okay when they get deported, the brown people, but talking about Melania or Barron as an anchor baby, stuff you guys love to fucking do on Twitter, oh, that crosses a line. When you talk about your faith, yet follow nothing that Jesus actually preached for, why is that okay? What do they actually genuinely stand for? Because I don't even think they fucking know. And stuff like this makes my heart break more and more every day for people who are just trying to live their lives in search of a better life, which is what this country was supposed to symbolize and promise for people. The American dream that has somehow become an American nightmare for even the people that claim to be the most die-hard America First patriots. Despite how it may come off, I love this country, but I do not love the situation it is in right now. And I think true love entails fighting to take something that you love to make it better, to lift it up from rock bottom and make it a country of compassion that leads the world and works to support all people. This may be too high level and broadly philosophical, but it also fucking pisses me off to see a country that is built on human rights atrocities, absolutely criminal levels of like war crimes, colonialism, white collar crime at the top levels of government, heinous exploitation, horrible worker rights and labor rights violations throughout its history, and then we're able to just fucking forget about all of that, and because some guy came here without papers, he's now the scum of the earth and the worst of the worst because he's Venezuelan, because he's Chilean. I'm not even saying like criminals shouldn't be criminal. No, fucking come on. But if you're gonna have standards, hold your fucking self to those standards too. And frankly, if you're not, then congratulations, you're just MAGA with a blue cap. Anyway, that's the rant for today. Thanks for listening if you did. For Really American, I'm Kenny Hesse. Be sure to drop a like, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.